if you ask Sheikh Akil, Sheikh Jafar, Sheikh Asad, how many parts are to Hajj? They'll say 2 parts, right? Umrah Tamattu and what's the other one? Hajj Tamattu. You're going to be getting familiar with this technical terminology. If you ask Inayat, Shakil or Mustafa, by the organizers, how many parts are to the Hajj? They'll say 3. So 2 mentioned. Can somebody mention the third one? Logistics. Okay, so every time in Madina and Makkah, there will be a third part which we call logistics. So my job here is today to give you a brief synopsis of the logistics which we will be going through in Madina and Makkah, etc. Okay? All right. So first of all, I want all of you to get familiar with this flag. This is our Hajj assistance flag. So we will be going through in different groups, but we will have the flags which will bear this design, and that's what will be written on the flag. Okay, so this will be very important for all of us to be familiar with. In the previous years, we used to carry the Canadian flag, but now to accommodate Hujjaj from the US, the UK, we have got a new logo and a new flag. Okay. First of all, packing list. Most of you are now concerned what we will take. We've got almost a few weeks to go. So packing list was sent by Sabira Bhai to all of you. So most of you have got it. Again, so I won't go much into detail. Okay, you have it. What do you do when you go to Haram? Okay, it's important that you have your dua book, your tablet, your iPhone, whatever you are taking. The traveling musalla will be provided by the group. But it's very important that you have this in your haram bag, because if you get a spot on the carpet in Medina, you will need that, right? Generally, they don't prefer us to use turba because they don't like, that turba. At least if you have a traveling musalla, you can do the sajda properly as required by the Sharia. You also carry your shoes with you when you go to the haram. It's not leaving the shoes outside. So that's why you'll be also given a shoe bag, but that has to be with you. You can't be looking for a place, because sometimes the shoe stands will be there and close by, sometimes not, right? You need to carry a water bottle with you. If your wuzu breaks, you can at least do a quick wuzu, right, with the water bottle. Generally, people don't take big cameras. iPhones are allowed generally, and you can take pictures as you finish, okay? What are the items which will be provided by the group? Again, so these are the common items you can read, and we will send the slides of my presentation, okay, in the next couple of days. But this is what will be provided to you, okay? We have changed the books from previous years. There were 2 thick books, book 1 and 2. Now we have made them smaller, so you can take them with you, and it's book 1, 2, 3, and you will get those books from the organizers, okay, for those who are traveling with this Hajj Assistance Committee or Hajj Assistance Services, okay? How many of you have visited the website, hajguide.org? How many people have gone through previous seminars? Wow, okay, so you are familiar with what I'm going to talk about, right? Okay. All right, so what do the organizers ask? What do you need to pack, right? Now, Akil Bhai mentioned that we have got around 12 to 13 organizers or volunteers to this group. I think the minimum Hajj each organizer has done is 10, minimum, right? We have people like Inayat, Mustafa and Shakil who have gone 25 years plus. And that's what Akil was saying, that when they tell you to do something, please listen to them, because of the experience they know how to guide you and maneuver through the crowds. So this Mominin is not a vacation trip. This is not Air Canada vacations, right? You have paid for your journey, correct, agreed. But we are relying on logistics on the ground, based on the situations on the ground. We are on the mercy when we request buses, correct? There's a possibility the buses don't come on time. You can't do anything. You can't sue them, right? So the organizers and the volunteers are humbly asking you to pack this thing with you. Number 1, patience. Number 2, tolerance. 3, forbearance. Sharing and caring. We heard Sheikh Khalil Jafar saying this is the important thing, where you need to show that you share and care for others. Forgiveness. Things will happen, right? Have a heart to forgive. And being positive. Things will be happening. Allah is testing you, testing your patience. So these are the key things from the logistics perspective which you need to pack. And you know what? They don't cost you anything, number 1. Number 2, they don't occupy a spot in your bag or in your knapsack. Good, right? Can we have a loud salawat, please? So departure. So all of us will be departing from different airports. It may be Toronto and various airports in the US, from London, UK, etc. So we need to remember with different airlines, 4 hours before, as Akhil mentioned, rest on the plane, utilize your time wisely on the plane, rest, refresh your material. I'm so happy to see quite a few of you printed the slides. This you can carry it in the plane, just go through that, and playing Salat on time, as Akhil mentioned, right? So departure to Medina, that's what we have. I'm going to skip through this slides. Again, spiritually, we need to refresh our mindset to where we are going, right? We just heard Khalil Bhai mention, right? You are entering the area where we have at least 6 Masumins in Medina, 6 out of 14, right? All right, okay. So what will happen when we arrive in Medina? We'll complete the immigration formalities. So we'll have our passports, which will have the visa. Lately, sometimes they do ask for meningitis or the vaccination booklet. So make sure you have it ready. And the most important part here is you can't come out of this Medina airport with your passport in hand. There'll be areas where we have to give up your passport. It's very, unusual because we travel, but we carry our passport. But you have to give the passport to the authorities who will collect the passport. We will get it back when we depart. Okay, very, very important. Okay, and then once we are out, right, make sure that your luggage is up on the bus before you sit in the bus. For the elderly, we will help them out, etc. Okay. All right, what will happen is we will go from the airport to the hotel. Our hotel name is Golden Mubarak Hotel. Okay. So the experience you will have is, we'll all arrive in a big group. All the suitcases will come down, and the lobby will be full of suitcases. Your room list, will be posted on the wall. You can go and check which room number you are. You can take the key from the reception, and then you can go up in your rooms. We may ask you to go and grab something to eat, etc. Okay, and then by that time you will then slowly get your bags and take them up on the respective floors. In Medina, in this hotel, we have 6 elevators. Okay, so there's good number of elevators. The lobby is reasonably good. Also has Wi-Fi, not very strong, but it gets better every year. Okay. All right. So preparation to go to the Haram for the first timers, right? We will guide you. There'll be a group of volunteers who will take the first timers. For those who have been to Umrah and know the rituals, etc., and the steps, for example, of reciting Izni Dukul Ziyarat, please proceed. You don't have to wait for anybody, and we'll guide you where the Haram is very close. Okay. Okay, good. I went through this. Ladies, again, there'll be specific timings for them as well in terms of going to the Haram together, etc. Okay. Okay, this is interior of masjid. We won't spend time here, but again, we will brief you in the books you will get. There'll be maps of different pillars where the Zari of the Prophet is, etc. Okay. Okay, so the important thing is what happens in Medina. What is a typical day for the first timers? So we generally wake up very early in the morning and go to the Haram. That means maybe an hour to 1.5 hours early to get a good spot. You recite Namaz al-Shab, and then you do your other du'as, ziyarat of the Prophet, Bibi Fatima, whatever your free time. And then, of course, we do the Fajr Namaz. And then we proceed for the men to Jannatul Baqi. Ladies can recite the ziyarat from the outside. Okay. It's important that we don't miss any lectures, right? In lectures, there are generally 2 lectures. One is in the Zohar time. After Zohar time, we meet. We have lecture, and then we have the lunch, and then during evening we also have a majlis or a lecture, etc. And then we have the dinner, right? So we announce, for example, the masails of Hajj, fiqh, and spiritual aspects and logistics are announced during those lecture times. So it's very important that you make sure that your timing is adjusted, right, to make sure that you attend. Jannatul Baqi. The only one recommendation in Jannatul Baqi is, where the graves of the Imams are, they have got their guards there, right? And you will see a number of groups coming, including our brothers, Iranian brothers, etc., and they'll be reciting. What we have to do is respect the authorities over there. If they tell you move away, you just walk away. You can recite your ziyarat from outside or close by as much as you can. The key takeaway for all of us is not to argue with those guards, right? Because they can create a logistical issues for the organizers. If you start arguing with them and they take you in and lock you up for a while, then the organizers have to get you out of there. So most of you are familiar with what I'm talking. We have scholars who have been detained and tortured as well. So that's what the message is here, yeah? Okay, In Medina, we take the group outside for outside ziyarats, okay? So we have Masjid Quba, Masjid Qiblatain, we go to Ohad, we take a round of Sabah Masjid, and all those ziyarats will be done by bus. There's also a Shia mosque there. We will take a group on Shia mosque. Mostly we time it that it's a Thursday night, so we can go to the Shia mosque, we can recite Dua Komel as well, and quite a few of our Iranian brothers also attend, right? So logistically, what is important and how do you prepare for outside ziyarat? You have to be ready when we tell you that tomorrow we are going, and you have to be ready in the lobby, for example, at 7 a.m. The reason we are trying to do the outside ziyarat early is because it's very hot. So the earlier part of the day are just a little bit cooler than the afternoon or mid-afternoon. We want to make sure that we take advantage of that. Make sure you have done wudu in the hotel before you step on the bus, and you've gone to the washroom as well, okay? Please carry a water bottle, okay, because it will be very hot. And then once we arrive, we buy more water bottles, but at least you have one water bottle with you on the bus. Once we arrive at a specific site, you will see this, that there'll be a lot of shopkeepers, right, just outside the mosque. So please do not wander shopping, because you're going to delay the group, right? That's why there's a no smoking sign, similar no shopping there, right? And once you are on the bus, ideally you go with the same bus. So we are going to be approximately 242 people. So we are taking around 5 buses. Okay, so we'll announce bus number 1 to 5. You have to be on the same bus. And ideally you sit with the same partner. What that means is that logistically it's easier. We just announce, is your partner there? Or is your partner missing? If your partner is there, we move the bus, we move. If your partner is missing, then you're going to delay that bus, go and find that person, etc. Right? So ideally, you can't be coming on bus 1 and returning on bus number 5, because we are wasting time to find you, right? So hopefully we'll go through this again over there once we are ready. Okay, let's say our trip, our stay in Medina is over, and now we are proceeding to Makkah. All right, so Akil went through this. We need to be ready with the ihram, and we'll go through the logistics in terms of when and what time you have to be ready, etc. Okay. So generally, we will proceed to Masjid al-Shajara, which is the miqat for us in Medina. Okay. We will announce the bus lists, etc. We'll tell you have to be ready by 3 or 4 p.m. So that means you have to get ready. That means, if you are sharing bathrooms for 4 to a room, for example, or 6 to a room, whatever the numbers are, within your room, you have to agree who's going to take the shower first, second, third, fourth, fifth, right? You can't all say that I'm going to take the shower at 2 p.m. So you have to start and get organized so you are ready to leave as we announce, okay? Now, once we are in Masjid al-Shajara, right, we will again be in different groups, because we'll have at least minimum 5 or 6 buses. You have to make sure you are within that group of men and ladies. So this way we don't get lost, because in Masjid al-Shajara, everybody is wearing ihram and they are in white clothes. With me? So it's very easy to either get lost or you'll miss your group. You may see people from our group, but they're not part of your bus, right? So again, if we all work collectively together, you follow the instructions, we can depart, right, Masjid al-Shajara as quickly as possible, so we arrive in time in Makkah to see if we can possibly do the Umrah before the Fajr time, okay? And that means it's less hot for you. The longer we delay, we're going to arrive in Makkah late, and then we have to do Umrah during the daytime, which is a little bit hotter. Okay, let's say Alhamdulillah, the journey went fine, and as Akil mentioned, each bus will be divided by volunteers and group leaders. The buses will depart and reach Makkah, inshallah, safely. They'll make stops on the way for food and washroom stops, etc. Once we arrive in Makkah, now you can look at the picture of this hotel. It's very skinny compared to the hotel in Medina, right? In Medina, how many elevators were there? Okay, there are only 2 very small elevators in the hotel in Makkah. The advantage of this hotel is its walking distance to the haram, right? So that's the advantage. Okay, if you go to a bigger hotel or a bigger home in Azizia, then the logistic difficulty is getting to the haram and going back to the hotel. So hotel is very small. Inshallah, once you arrive there, right, we ask you to go and refresh, right? Depending on the timing of arrival, we'll say we are going to recite Fajr namaz in the hotel and go to Umrah later. If the time allows us, we'll go and do the Umrah, then recite Fajr in Masjidul Haram, okay? What we will do then in Makkah, once we have arrived, is we will create small groups of people who have done Umrah before. So for example, if Shani and his wife have done Umrah and Hajj before, they'll take a group of 5, 10 people, or whatever they can manage. Similarly, there are other people in the group from Canada, US, UK, who may have done Hajj or Umrah before. So they'll collect a group of 5, and then they will take them to do the Umrah, etc., and then they'll come back to the hotel. So what to do in Makkah, right? So there are so many things you can do, because remember, once we are there in Makkah and you have finished your Umrah, then you have 4 or 5 days completely free. You can go to the Haram, pray, come back to the hotel, rest, etc., right? So these are quite a few things you can do in terms of reciting and all that. The important thing here is, again, that when you go to the Haram, in Makkah, you can go in spouses and in families. In Madina, of course, there's segregation. Men have a different section, ladies have a different section. In Makkah, it's not. They do segregate, especially people when there's namaz times, etc. But ideally, you can go and pray together, sit together, do your du'as, etc. together, right? And we also arrange a walking ziyarat in Makkah, not by bus, but we walk. We go all the way from the Haram and through Masjid al-Jinn. We go through until we'll reach Jannatul Mu'alla. This is where the graves of Bibi Khadija, etc., and other holy personalities of are buried there. Okay. And sometimes there are rooftop lectures arranged by other groups, okay? So we will announce those timings, and then you are free to attend those lectures if you want. Sometimes Sheikh Osama may be reciting dua, or Sheikh Nuru may be giving a lecture, etc. So depending on the scholars, and if we hear some timings, we will definitely announce. Sometimes we also have guest speakers coming to us in our hotel, and they would do the lectures to us, okay? So now we have stayed in Makkah for a few days, and now we are getting ready to go to Hajj Tamattu, right? That means we are now leaving Makkah, going to Arafat, Muzdalifah, Mina, and then coming back. All right? So you can see the difference between what you packed in 2 bags from here and the knapsack, right? What that means is whatever fits in this knapsack is what you are allowed to carry. Remember, we go in school buses, there's no luggage space, right? You're going to carry this on your back yourself. The lighter it is, the better, okay? What do you pack in that is all listed, and I think that's you have already received this as well, okay? It's very important to keep it as light as possible, okay? Now, let's say we are in Arafat, okay? This is the best place to be, right? The important thing, as Akil mentioned, and I think Sheikh Khalil Jafar has mentioned, is the wukuf in Arafat is in the afternoon, right, from Zohar till Maghrib time. So we need to make sure, right, that you are rested. Okay, it's going to be hot, but we do have air-conditioned tents in Arafat. Alhamdulillah, it should work. The important thing from a logistics perspective is that if you need to go to the washroom, you need to go earlier. There'll be a lineup to get into the washroom. Sometimes people are like there are 10 people ahead of you, right? Sometimes there's trade-off. You want to buy a spot, it's $50, $60, $100. You can pay the person ahead of you. This is a joke, okay? I wanted you to laugh a little bit. Okay, all right, okay. The important thing here is that the Imam of our time, our 12th Imam, is present. This is one time in a year you can confine the 12th Imam to a specific space in the world, and that is the plains of Arafat. Okay? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Okay, so let's assume we have finished Arafat, Alhamdulillah, and now this is the time when your sins have been forgiven, inshallah. So we are now in the plains of Muzdalifah. And Muzdalifah, of course, is a complete plain. There is no tent on top of us. It's going to be evening time, okay? And this is where you will need your sleeping bag, most likely. In the tents in Arafah, you can open your sleeping bag. There'll be carpet very, like this, or a little bit, weaker than this, just one thin mattress, kind of very thin mattress or carpet. But in Muzdalifah, there's nothing. So this is where it's critical that you have a sleeping bag. There are sleeping bags or mattress available in Makkah as well. If you want to purchase from there, if you are comfortable getting a sleeping bag from here, from Canadian Tire or other department stores, you are free to buy. Okay. All right. So a couple of quick reminders in Muzdalifah. Men cannot sleep while covering their heads because they're in the state of ihram, right? That's important to know. There is no food in Muzdalifah. We'll feed you enough in Arafat. Honestly, you can survive the night, but you can buy some tea or biscuits over there, okay? Again, the lineups here in the washroom are longer because remember, everybody is in Muzdalifah, and even if you want to pray Fajr namaz, we'll have to wake you up and say, if you want to go to the washroom, go at 3:30. The Fajr namaz may be at 5. I know some of you can see in this picture behind, there are, lineups you can see, right? So again, inshallah, we'll manage. And one spiritual aspect here, which I think is really good, is, Akil mentioned we pick 70 pebbles. Right? We're going to hit the shaitan. But when you're picking the pebbles, you look at yourself and say how many vices you have. Every pebble you pick is you're going to stone the shaitan with a niyyah that you're going to take that vice away from you first, all right? Anyways, let's move forward. Mina. Mina is called tent city, right? It's huge. First of all, most of the tents are white, and people are wearing white. So it's very easy to get lost, okay? All right, okay. When we go to do the walk, we have to remember the flag, okay? The walk to the jamarat is long, and we will make sure that we have enough water bottles. One other logistic point here, and this is very important, is that if we can get spray bottles, small spray bottles, it's going to be very handy for those walks. As Akil mentioned, it's a long walk, right? So spray bottles are going to be very handy. You can spray yourself on the face, you can spray your colleague or your friend, your spouse, etc. So this is very, very important. Before we leave the tents to go to the walk, right, we need to make sure we have gone to the washrooms. There's only one washroom facility that comes, right, but their lineups are long and it may not be as clean as we would expect, okay? All right, so as Sheikh Khalil Jafar mentioned, right, I just want to give you a perspective. Where is Makkah? Is on the left-hand side here. Then Arafat in the green, the furthest point. In the middle we have Muzdalifah, Mina. So if you look at it, Arafat is furthest, then in Muzdalifah, then we are in Mina, and then in Makkah, right? Okay, so this is very important. Okay, you have to memorize this. Okay, and there'll be a test after this. So we are in point number 1 is Makkah. With me so far? We are going, okay, on the eve of 9th of Zil Hijjah to Arafat. Okay? It's a 20-kilometer ride by bus. Okay? Now, once we have arrived in Arafat, we will spend we'll arrive early in the morning. We'll stay there in Arafat for the day. The wukuf is from afternoon, Zohar to Maghrib. And then at night, we will go from Arafat to Muzdalifah. With me so far? It's 9-kilometer journey by bus. There'll be a lot of people in Arafat. We have to pick numbers, which bus will go first. We'll guide you. We'll go on by bus. So by the time we are in Muzdalifah, it will be night, between 7 till 11 p.m., depending on the turn we get through the bus. Okay, so now we are in Muzdalifah. Okay, we will pick pebbles, and now this is the most important part. We're gonna walk to Mina. Generally, our tents are not far from Muzdalifah. The walk is around 1.5 hours, and walk. Yeah. The distance is 3.5 kilometers, and the walk is approximately 1.5 hours, okay? So ladies will start walking early in the morning. So that means we arrive in Muzdalifah, 10 p.m., 11 p.m. They'll pick up the pebbles, they'll rest for a while. Then the volunteers will guide them. They may be ready by 2 a.m., 3 a.m. They'll start walking towards Mina. Okay, they can go into Mina before sunrise. They'll go drop their stuff, and they'll be asked to go to hit the jamarat. Okay, the men will go in the early morning. So the most important question we get is, are there any taxis? There is no taxis in Muzdalifah. Okay, there are no buses. Buses will be there, but we can't use them. Okay, so generally we have to walk. Okay, and what that means, the takeaway for doing this and showing you this slide is, we need to start walking. Okay, please, we need to start walking because we really need to make sure we are conditioned enough to do those walking journeys. Okay, so now let's say we have arrived in Mina. Okay, And for the ladies, it will be early morning. For us, it will be around 8, 9 a.m. depending on when we reach them from Muzdalifah. So from Mina, we have to go and do the rami, the stoning of the jamarat. Okay, the walk is 1.5 hours, approximately 3.5 kilometers one way, and we have parked the sun there. That means it's going to be hot. As Akil mentioned, sometimes we arrive quickly, go to the bathroom, grab something to eat, and then start walking. Last year, they wanted to control the crowd, so they said, okay, if you are in this camp or in this tent, you have to wait until 11 a.m. before you start walking. That means we can rest, but then you have to do the walk in the sun and then come back. Okay? Then you come back from hitting the jamarat, another 1.5 hour walk, 3.5 kilometers. So you're going to be walking that day 3 kilometers just to the jamarat, and then if you the night before or the early morning, you have walked from Muzdalifah to the jamarat. Okay, so this is the Eid day, the 10th of Zil Hijjah. Okay, and then some of us will be going to Qurbani. So Qurbani is a little bit more walk from the tent. So that's on top of this. Okay. So again, most important question we get: can I get a taxi to take me from jamarat to the tent? There is no taxi and there is no bus. Okay, it's also very difficult to push wheelchairs over there. And sometimes we consult the volunteers, we have a discussion with the elderly, and some elderlies, because they walked from Muzdalifah to Mina, they may have to give niyabat, okay, for the stoning. Although we recommend, there are rules around it, but this is what I just want to prepare you logistically. That's what's going to happen, right? So now, once you have come back and you have done your halak, this was the Eid day, right? Let's say you are back in the tent by afternoon, say it's like 12 p.m. You pray your Zohar Asr, you can refresh, you're going to be out of your ihram, and then you can rest. So from the afternoon of 10th, right, Zil Hijjah, you're going to be resting, you're going to be served dinner, you are resting, right, until you recite Fajr Namaz the following day on the 11th Zul Hijjah, and then you have to go back now to Jamarat, and on the 11th you are hitting 3 Jamarats. Small, medium, and large, okay? And there are technical names for it. Uqba, Usta, and Ula, Usta, and Uqba, okay? All right. So we will start again our journey to hit the Jamarat early in the morning to minimize the heat. Again, 1.5 hour walk, 3.5 kilometers. Then you come back, okay? Another 1.5 hours. So you're going to be back in the tent by around 11 a.m., 10 a.m., depending on when you started. Again, once you are back in the tent from 11 a.m., you are resting. You're going to get lunch, you pray Zohar, then you sleep the night, okay? Half night, and then now we need to, so again, similarly, no taxi, no bus. So now we are on the 11th day after midnight, we are in Mina because you've done your stoning, right? Now we're going to go to a bus stop, 40-minute walk and 1.2 kilometers. Okay, I'm going to send you this slide so you don't have to worry about taking too detailed notes, just the points, yeah? The bus will now take us to Makkah. So this is after spending half of the night in Mina. That was our wukuf, okay? So midnight, we leave Mina, we walk to the bus. It will be around 12:31 a.m. The bus will then drop us to Makkah, okay? Hopefully they can get us in time. It may be 2:30 a.m., 2 a.m. depending on the traffic, and sometimes they close some of the roads, so let's assume they get us there in a good time. So by the time you reach Makkah and the Fajr Namaz, there's an opportunity for you to go and do the Hajj Tawaf, right, Sa'i, and Tawafun Nisa. It's possible to do those 3 things because half of the crowd is still in Mina. Our brothers and sisters from Ahl Sunnah, quite a few of them are still in Mina. So ideally the rush in the Haram is quite less, okay? So that's one thing we need to make sure we can try to accomplish as soon as possible. Once you are back in Makkah, right, you're going to have breakfast, and now we have to come back to Jamarat to do the stoning on the 12th of Zil Hijjah. Okay? Now, the best way to do this is, again, you walk from Makkah to Jamarat, 1.5 hours, okay, around 4.5 kilometers. This is approximate, okay? And then we can't leave Mina, right, until Zohar time. So we have to hang around near the Jamarat over there until Zohar time. As soon as we hear the Azan of Zohar, we can walk back to Makkah, okay? And then, basically, you are done. Okay, so let me go back here. So once you will be back in the hotel by around 2 p.m., 2:30 p.m. at the latest. That's the best way to get to your hotel. As soon, if you are trying to get a taxi from Mina to Makkah on that day, you're going to be stuck in traffic. You can't move. People who take taxis, they come around 5 p.m., 6 p.m., 11 p.m. Sometimes it does happen because they're just jammed, right? And then you're on taxi, you can't even go to the washroom, right? So anyways, we'll go through this in a little bit more detail. Again, for elderly, for people who have got hurt or they are weak, we will do niyabat for them logistically, right? According to Sharia, we'll consult the scholars. If they permit, then we can do the niyabat for them. Okay, I'm cognizant of the namaz time, so just let's quickly move forward. So here is the summary, okay? Makkah to Arafat, bus. Arafat to Muzdalifah, bus. Muzdalifah to Mina is walk. Mina to Jamarat and back, walk. Then Mina to Makkah, bus, and then walk from Makkah to Jamarat for the last day, and then you walk back, okay? Overall, during this Hajj trip, you will walk 90 plus kilometers. We have tracked that, 90 plus kilometers, okay? All right, very quickly. So, as I mentioned, this is your 5-star home, your 5-star bed, and your 5-star pillow, right? Then you go to Madina, like a 3-star hotel. Then you go to Makkah, smaller hotel, less elevators, right? Then you go to Arafat. You don't have your bed, you have a tent over you, and it's air-conditioned tent based on the experiences in the past. Then you go to Muzdalifah, then Allah takes away the tent from you, right? First He took away the mattress and all the comfort, right? Gave you the carpet, but then you had the tent. So in Mina, you have your tent back, less air-conditioned, but at least you have something. You have maybe mattress there as well. Then you go to Makkah, and believe me, your hotel in Makkah, which was a 2-star, is like a 5-star now, because now you have a washroom which is 4 to a washroom. In Mina, it was like 50 to or 60 to a washroom, and the lineups are so long. Okay, anyways, and then you have your 5-star home, right? So during this journey, as your comfort level goes down, your blessings go up, right? So this is how we look at it. Okay, very quickly, I'll skip through most of this. We'll send you in slides. Okay, make sure you have your to-do list. Okay, we have only a few weeks left. Believe me, time is running every day. Pay up your obligations like homes, complete your will, etc. Okay, very quickly, top 10 things. This is where you get your bonus sawab, right? Allah loves the people who help another Haji. Believe me, you'll be, opportunities will come. It's just for you to grab. Make sure you share your space in Mina, in Arafat. Don't spread your, and Inayat Bhai will cover this, but important thing in this Hajj trip is you need to share and sacrifice, okay? Your comfort for others. Keep your cool. Delays will be happening all the time. Shaitan is working overtime in this trip, as Khalil Bhai mentioned in Mina, right? We want to stone them, but we need to look at ourselves. Okay. Okay, very quickly. Take enough rest, as Akil mentioned. Quality is better than quantity. If somebody comes to you and says, hey, I went and prayed in Riyadul Jannah in Madina, that's okay, that's good for him. Okay, if you can make it, that's good. Somebody will come and tell you, I touched Hajar Aswad. Okay, that's fine, good for him, right? But there's no competition. Quality is better than quantity, okay? And we don't recommend Hajar Aswad before your Hajj rituals are over, because you can easily get hurt. If you get an elbow in your ribs, that will not allow you to complete your wajibat. So please, do whatever you want to do, but make sure you have enough energy and rest as well. The main thing here is drink lots. It's going to be hot. It's getting hotter. Hajj is now moving towards summer, right? So we need to make sure you keep, your health. So that means you have to drink lots of, water. Avoid or decrease. We provide soft drinks, by the way, but you have to look at yourself and your health, okay? Make sure that you minimize those caffeine drinks. Always, this is a very simple hygiene. Always wash your hands before you eat. Even going haram, right? People are walking on that carpet where you're going to do sajda, right? If even in masjid in haram, you are doing sajda on the tile, right? It's clean, but again, right? People are walking on that and they are doing tawaf. So simple hygiene is just make sure you wash your hands before you eat. Practice walking. Tip number 2, right? Important. Okay. We need to make sure we are prepared spiritually, right? Because if you understand the spiritual aspects, that will be the catalyst to the change you want to see in yourself when you come back, okay? So, all right, okay, do not worry. I know a lot of people are worried here. First time, We are here. The volunteers are here to serve you, right? Inayat, Shakil Bhai will eat, and that's what we will eat and drink. So don't worry about that. Do your part. We will do ours. Allah will do His. This is a big deal, okay? We will do our part. You do yours, and Allah will do His, okay? What happens if you get sick? We do have doctors in the group. We do have pharmacists in the group. We carry some basic medications. If you're on prescription, make sure you carry your prescriptions, okay? Okay, what happens if you die? Or I die, right? This is one of the best places to die, either in Madina or Makkah. And we do have extensive connections with other groups. And believe me, they will bury me, you, or whoever dies. I mean, we have got Hujjaj who have passed away before, right? And there's history that one person asked in the seminar, what happens if I pass away? And the organizer told him, hell, we bury you. And then he did pass away, by the way. Somehow he had an inclination. Anyways, final thought. We asked Hajjis from previous years, what would be one thing you would do differently, right? If you had the opportunity to go for Hajj or Ziyarat again. So, it was not more shopping. It was not more eating, right? We have now got McDonald's and all the, prominent, I would say, eating places there. It was not more drinking juice, Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, coffee, more socializing. The answer was, I wish I could have spent more time in the Haram in Madina and Makkah and paid a little bit more to my Lord. Okay? All right, so it's namaz time. So after namaz, we have lunch, and then Inayat Bhai will come cover a few more logistics, and then Q&A. Now, I know we went through this fast. Even if your question was not answered, we will do is send out an email with my slides. We'll give you Akil's contact as well, my contact, Sabi Rabai's contact. You can ask any questions, and we'll also give you our phone numbers, right? But if you have questions, please stay behind. We'll clear those, or you can just email, phone, and text. And other thing, very important, right? This was a sneak preview. We have 5 full days in Madina, one-to-one with scholars. Asad is there, Akil is there, Abbas Jafar will be there. Enough time for us to prepare you spiritually to make sure you cover all the aspects in Madina and then Makkah. Again, so nothing to get overwhelmed. We are here to serve you. Can we have one loud salawat, please?